Hi, thanks for joining me today. I had kind of a weird thing happen last week. Um, I've been shielding myself from politics, kind of blocking things that kind of upset me. So I have put myself in this cocoon. Um, and somebody posted something on one of my safe spots that I didn't expect it, and I was overcome with a deep anger and rage. And of course, my initial thought was, you know, that person did something to me. Um, but yoga teaches us that it's all in here. So, what I need to do is figure out why my button was pushed so much. So, that's part of something called svadhyaya or self study. So, I need to look internally to figure out what's going on with me and why I had that emotion that was stored inside and just blew up. Yoga can help release emotions. The actual postures and movements can help to release emotions. So, for today's practice, we're going to go through a very flow, like watery series of movements, kind of just to open the channels, get things flowing, see if we can release any of that energy. So, I have to do my self study and figure out what's going on. And I don't have the answer yet, but that's also yoga is a practice. So, continual learning about yourself, about others. So, let's start on our backs today and begin by settling in. I'm going to keep my knees up, so feet planted a little bit wider than the mat. My knees will knock together. You could have your legs straight if that's more comfortable. Find a position where you can settle into this first couple minutes of practice. So begin by feeling your body settling into the earth. And then draw attention to your breath. And think about your breath like it's a wave. So water crashing into the shore and then receding. So breathing in, the water comes to the shore. And then as you exhale, the water recedes. And then you can use your breath in this breathing technique, imagining water, to help with your thoughts. So meaning a thought comes in and you can just let it go. Let it go out to sea. So breathing in and out. And just spend a couple of moments here. Take a couple more breaths. Breathing in and out. In and out. And then notice if you're holding any tension anywhere, and just see if you can let something let go. And we'll take one more breath cycle, one more wave cycle, in and out. Okay, now bring your feet about hip width distance apart, and we're just going to have small movements in our lower back. So place your hands underneath your lower back with your palms facing the earth. And as you take a breath in, lift that part of your lower back off the ground. And then as you exhale, draw your belly into your spine and flatten that low part of your back into the mat. So let's do that a couple times. So breathing in, have a little space between the earth and your low back, and then exhaling, tighten your spine and belly together, bring your lower back to the earth. So let's just do a couple more pulses like that with breath, breathing in and out. And once you have that feeling of your back pressing into the earth, you can take your hands away and actually feel your back instead of pressing into your hands, pressing into the earth. And this exercise is really good to strengthen your core muscles without doing a sit-up. Okay, now bring your knees up towards your chest to lift your feet off the ground. And we're just going to do some circles with our knees. So place your hands on your knees and just bring your legs and knees out and then back together. So as your arms move away, inhale as you come in, exhale. And we'll do that for a couple times, exhaling as you draw in, inhaling as your arms move away. And then we can reverse the circle. Exhaling and inhaling. A continuous movement, a continuous flow. Now bring your arms out alongside your body and place your feet on the ground. A little bit, bring your feet wider than hip distance, and we're just going to windshield wiper legs. So moving your knees to the left and then up and to the right. And as you're doing this movement, have your lower back pressed into the earth. So you'll have to tighten your core muscles. So draw your navel into your spine. And just back and forth again, like a continuous flow. So strengthening the muscles of your core, finding openness in your hips. And then come to center. And then roll on to your side. And we'll come into all fours position. So place your hands underneath your shoulders, your fingers spread wide, your knees will be about hip distance apart. And we'll just begin moving spontaneously. So you could move from side to side, maybe front to back. And then begin to connect your breath with movement. Perhaps inhaling as you move to one side, exhaling to the other. Breathing in as you move forward, exhaling as you sink back, maybe towards child's pose. You could incorporate some cat-cow movements, so bringing your chin and tailbone up, and then exhaling, drawing chin towards chest, rainbowing your spine, tucking your tailbone. Breathing in as you bring your chin and tailbone up. And then just finding movement that feels good in your body. So doing some self-study of your body. So where does your body need a little extra tenderness or care? Maybe you have an injury you're nurturing. Maybe you're noticing that you're holding tension in a part of your body. And see if through this self-exploration you can release tension or become aware of some part that is in pain or is hurting. So come to all fours, curl your toes, lift your knees off the ground, and we'll take a breath here as you draw your belly to your spine. And then slowly lift your hips up towards the sky, towards downward dog. Keeping your knees bent, let your neck completely relax. Maybe give a little yes, no shake. And then begin to pedal your feet, using your breath to connect the movement. Bringing one heel down as you exhale. As that heel comes up, inhale. And exhale in a continuous flow of breath in and out, in and exhale. Look to your hands, take steps up to your hands and come to halfway lift with a very flat back. Hinge at your hips to forward fold. You could have your knees bent if your legs are very tight. And once again, let your neck relax. We'll take 2 breaths here. Now press your feet into the ground to rise up. Spread your arms wide and then reach up tall. So really stretching your arms up to the sky, feeling your feet grounded into the earth. So feeling a length and a push and a pull. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Press your feet into the earth as you rise up, reaching, stretching. Bring your hands through your heart. Dive down, tense your fingers, plant your hands, step your right foot back into low lunge with your right knee on the ground. Lift your chest up and imagine that water's flowing down your back. Plant your hands, curl your right toe, step your left foot back into downward dog. Breathe in as you come into all fours. Exhale, sink into child's pose. And we'll take a breath here. Now bring your right arm, your right hand to the outer edge of your mat, and then place your left hand on top of your right. So you'll feel a stretch along your left side body. You could use your right arm as a little pillow to cradle your head. As you're breathing in, feel the expansion along your right side body. On your next breath in, come back to center. Press yourself up to all fours. Curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Feeling your heels pressing towards the earth, but your hips lifting up to the sky. So feeling that length along the back side of your leg, letting your neck relax. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands and come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold. And then press into the earth to rise up, breaking the surface. Taking a big gulp of air in. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now take another full deep breath in. Reaching, extending. Bring your hands through heart center. Dive down again. Tense your fingers. Step your left foot back into low lunge. Place your left knee on the ground. Lift your chest up. Let the water drain down your back. Now plant your hands. Step your right foot back into downward dog. Breathe in. Come to all fours. Breathe out. Sink into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat. Now bring your left hand to the outside of your mat and then place your right hand over your left hand. This time feeling a big stretch along your right side body. Let your neck relax. As you take a breath in, feel the expansion and openness all along your right side body. On your next breath in, come back to center and then sink down. Rest your forehead into the mat. Breathe in, come to all fours. Exhale, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands and come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold. Press your feet into the ground as you rise up, reaching, extending. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take another deep breath in, reaching, extending. Dive down, tense your fingers, step your right foot back. We're going to a high lunge this time. So check your feet and see that they're in two separate tracks. When you're ready to breathe in, press your left foot into the earth and rise up. You could start by having your hands on your hips while you adjust your position. Have about a 90-degree angle in your left knee and stand on the tippy toes of your back foot. Now bring your arms up to the sky and have a tiny back bend. Bring your hands to your heart and then frame your left foot with your hands. Step your left foot back into downward dog. Breathe in, come to plank pose. If plank is too much, you can come on your knees. But if you are in plank, tuck your belly into your spine and bring your heels towards the back of the room. So feeling that lengthening. Now bring your knees to the ground. Squeeze your sides with your arms as you lower all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. Lift your head up as you breathe in. Draw your shoulder blades down and back, feeling the sensation in your upper back as your shoulder blades pull together. Exhale your forehead down. Press into all fours. Curl your toes. Bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold, and then press into the earth to rise up, breaking to the surface. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in, reaching, extending. Bring your hands through your heart center, hinge and fold, tense your fingers, step your left foot back. We're going to high lunge on the opposite side. Now press into your right foot as you rise up. Bring your hands, little balance issue. Bring your hands to your hips. Once again, standing on the tippy toe of your left foot in the back. Bring your arms up to the sky and take a tiny back bend as you look up to the sky. As you exhale, frame your right foot with your hands. Step your right foot back into downward dog. Breathe in as you come into plank pose, pressing your heels towards the back of the room, feeling the strength and length in your body. Now lower your knees and squeeze your sides as you lower all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the earth as you bring your chest up, drawing your shoulder blades back. You could even lift your hands off the mat, so using your back muscles completely for this pose. Now lower down, rest your forehead on the mat. Press into all fours and then curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands, come to halfway lift, hinge and fold, and then press into the ground to rise up. Once again, reaching and extending. This time you're going to reach to the ceiling and stand up on your tippy toes. And then come back to the ground, bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Press into the earth as you rise up, bringing your arms up to the sky. Hinge and fold, tense your fingers, step your left foot back and ground your left foot into the earth. Press into your right foot as you rise up. Bring your hips and chest to the left. And we're going to warrior two. So pressing your back foot into the ground, pressing your right foot solidly into the ground as well. Stretching your arms out to both sides, so feeling a length all along your body. Now flip your right palm and reach overhead to reverse. And then bring your right knee to right elbow, left hand to left hip, and open up into side angle. So from here, draw your left shoulder blade back. You might have to bring your left hip towards the left as well to find an opening along your chest. You can stay here, or you could bring your right hand to the ground, maybe bring your left hand up to the sky. Now feeling that same length along your arms all the way up to the ceiling. Press into your right foot to rise up to warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Now reach forward as far as you can reach. Place your left hand on left hip. Place your right hand starting on your shin, on your right shin. Find that openness again. So this might be a good position to stay. You could bring your right hand to the ground, but if you notice that you're closing in and losing that openness in your chest, stay up. Now bend your right leg, press into the ground back to warrior two. Now cartwheel your hands down, frame your right foot, step your right foot back into downward dog. Breathe in as you come into plank. Lower your knees to the ground, squeezing your sides as you lower. Press the tops of your feet into the earth and press up into cobra. So a little bit higher than we did in our sun salutations, but still feeling that sensation of drawing your shoulder blades back. Exhale down. Press up into all fours. Curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to a halfway lift. Really flat back. Exhale, fold, and then press into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. So take a full deep breath in. Bring your hands through heart center, hinge and fold, tense your fingers. This time step your right foot back, grounding your right foot into the mat. Press into your left foot as you rise up. Bring your body to the right. We're coming to warrior two position. Stretch your arms out to the sides, feeling that length all along your upper body. Now flip your left palm and reverse. And then flowing back to warrior two just for a moment. And then bring left elbow to left knee, right hand to right hip, and find that opening across your chest. You could bring your right hand to the ground, your left hand down to the ground, your right hand up to the sky. Now press into your left foot as you rise up to warrior two. Straighten your left leg, reach as far as you can, and when you can't reach any further, hinge, placing your right hand on right hip, left hand on left shin, and find that position. So drawing your right shoulder back this time. Staying here is perfectly fine. You could bring your left hand towards the sky and your right hand up, but keeping that openness in your chest. Now bend your left knee, press up back into warrior two just for a moment, gazing over your left fingertips. And then cartwheel your hands down, framing your left foot. Step your left foot back into downward dog. Breathe in as you come to plank pose. And then lower all the way to your belly. resting your forehead on the mat. Plant the tops of your feet into the mat to rise up to cobra, or you could lift your knees and thighs off the ground into upward dog. So we'll take a breath here and then lower down to your belly, resting your forehead on the mat. Press into the earth to rise up to all fours. Bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold. And then press up. Rising, reaching, extending. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in. Hinge and fold. Tense your fingers. Step your left foot back. This time we're coming into warrior one. So your left foot will be planted into the mat. Rise up with your hands on your hips first. And then bring your arms up to the sky. So feeling the stretch with your hands reaching, but if you notice that your shoulder blades have come up by your ears, reset your shoulders. So bring your shoulder blades down, your shoulders down. We'll take a breath here. Now bring your arms either to your hips, or if you're able, clasp your hands behind your back. So press your knuckles into the earth, drawing your shoulder blades back, opening up your heart. And then we're going to lean forward. So bring your right knee towards your right shoulder into humble warrior. So let your neck relax. And we'll stay here just for a moment. Now press into your right foot as you rise up. Bring your arms up again. And we'll have just a tiny little back bend, opening up. Now bring your hands to your hips and come to the tippy toe of your back foot. And we're going to press into warrior three. So when you're ready, press your right foot into the ground, launch off your left foot to standing, and then pivot. So you could start with your hands on your chest, standing on your right foot. Sometimes it helps to bring your left hip towards the ground, so aligning your hips. So you can stay with your hands on your heart. You could bring your arms out to the side or forward. So if your arms are forward, feel a length along your back. So stretching, reaching your hands forward, but pressing your left foot back, flexing your foot can be helpful with your balance. Then come up to standing. Take a full deep breath in. Bring your hands to your heart and out to your sides. Let's do the other side. So take a full deep breath in. Hinge and fold, tense your fingers. This time step your right foot back. Plant your right foot into the ground, going into warrior one. Press your left foot into the ground as you rise up, bringing your hands to your hips first. Adjusting your feet if necessary. Now bring your arms up to the sky, reaching, stretching. Reset your shoulders away from your ears. Now draw your hands either to your hips or behind your back, clasping your hands, opening up your chest, drawing your shoulder blades back. Now bow down, bringing left shoulder to left knee. Let your neck relax. And we'll take a breath or two here. Press into your left foot as you rise up. Bring your arms up to the sky. And take a tiny back bend. Now we're coming into warrior three, so stand on the tippy toe of your right foot. Press into the earth with your left foot, launch off your right, maybe to standing first, and then pivot forward towards warrior three. So once again, it might feel good to have your hands at your chest or out to your sides or forward, whatever feels good for you. Coming back to your breath. If you're stumbling, it's totally okay to stumble. And we'll take one more breath, flexing your back foot, stretching your arms forward if your arms are forward, and then standing up. Take a full deep breath in. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. So deep, full breath in. Hinge and forward fold, tense your fingers, step back into plank, and then lower all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. Bring your arms to your sides. Actually, no, bring your arms forward. I think that will be better. So feeling the stretching your arms forward, stretching your legs back towards the back of the room. Now bring your left hand and right foot up and bring your chest just a tiny bit off the earth. And then exhale down. Breathing in as right hand and left leg come up. Exhaling down. And then move with your own breath. So almost like you're swimming, like your movements are slowed, like you're moving through water. Just moving and flowing with your breath. Breathing in and out. In and out. Now take a breath here. Come to stillness and just let go. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere and seeing if you can let go of that tension. Now bring your hands alongside your chest. Press into the ground to press up to all fours first and then sink down into child's pose. So rest your forehead on the mat. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. So finding a position where you can come to stillness. Letting the effects of our practice sink in. Bringing awareness to your breath as your belly presses against your thighs. As you breathe in, and then feeling a contraction as you breathe out. Now press up into all fours, and then just scoot your feet around and come to seated position. So bring your legs out in a V, bring your arms up to the sky, and we're going to fold over our left leg. So with your chest up, now as you breathe in, come up, and we're going to do that movement a couple times. So exhaling as you come down, so your left hand on your left foot, your right arm up overhead. So feeling a stretch along your right side body. So come up one more time, and then exhale down with your chest up. Now turn your body towards the left so that you're folding over your left leg. So feeling the sensation, the stretch along the back of your leg, and feeling of letting go in your upper body. So we'll just take another breath here. Press yourself up to a seated position. Bring your arms up tall. And this time we're going to fold over our right leg. So keeping your left arm up to the sky, opening your chest. So feeling the stretch along your left side body. And we'll do that with movement. So breathing in as you come up, folding over as you exhale. Breathing in as you come up, stretching tall. Exhaling down. Now twist to the right to forward fold over your right leg. Let your neck relax. And feel the sensation of the stretch along your back, the back side of your leg. And notice where you're holding tension and let it go. And then come up to a seated position. Bring your feet together and point your toes up to the sky and just lean a tiny bit, hinging at your hips just a tiny bit to feel the stretch along the back side of your legs. And this will depend on your flexibility, how far it feels comfortable for you to fold. So not overstretching, just feeling an openness along the back side of your leg. And we'll hold this for 2 more breaths, breathing in and out. Now press yourself up to a seated position, and we'll come into boat pose. So you can start with your hands at your sides, right by your bum, sitting up tall, so bringing your chest up, draw your shoulder blades back. Now lift your feet off the ground. You could keep your knees bent. So this is the first position. So drawing your navel into your spine. You could bring your arms up, still keeping your chest open. Maybe straightening your legs. And we'll just hold for 3, 2, 1. Now give yourself a hug, so draw your hands in front of your shins. Bring your forehead to your knees or towards your knees. And then we'll come down onto our back. So just slowly lower 1 vertebrae at a time. Slowly, slowly. And then feel your back sink in. So now bring your feet off the ground and bring your arms up to the sky. And we're just going to do some spontaneous movement. So kind of like, I like to think of this like you're at the bottom of the sea and your arms and legs are like seaweed being just randomly moved with the flow of the current. Just letting whatever movement seems right to you. Now, bend your knees and bring your hips open. If you're able, hold on to your feet with your hands. So holding on to the outside of each foot with each hand into happy baby pose. So your knees can be very bent. It might feel good to rock from side to side, feeling again like you're just being moved around by the current. So just back and forth. And then you can bring your feet to the ground, come into a full body stretch, stretching one direction and the other, and then come to your final resting position. So that could be Shavasana with your palms up and your legs slightly spread, But coming to a position that feels comfortable for you, where you can come to stillness for the last few minutes of class. So once you've arrived in your position, feel yourself settling in. Notice where you're holding any tension and see if you can let go. Bring awareness to your breath. And once again, imagine that your breath is like water. As you inhale, the water comes to shore. As you exhale, the water recedes. So things come into your life and then they leave. And you always have the power to come back to your breath. Come back to where you are. Come back to your center. Knowing that there are many experiences that we have throughout the day, but we always have the power to control how we feel and what emotions we feel. That's always in our power. So rest here. Begin to bring awareness back to your breath, feeling the sensations of your inhales and your exhales. Feeling oxygen and energy start to bring your body back to life. Feeling movement in your fingers and your toes. As your breath deepens, more energy will come in, bringing movement to your legs and your arms. When you're ready in your own time, roll onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Draw your knees up to your chest if that's comfortable. And take a moment in gratitude, thanking yourself for practicing today, taking time for self-care. And then when you're ready, you can press yourself up to a seated position. When you arrive, bring your hands to your heart and take a moment to press the backs of your thumbs into your heart. Feel the steady beat of your heart. And we'll take one last breath as a class together. So when you're ready, take a full deep breath in and then exhale. Thank you for practicing today. Namaste.